Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to my channel. She Says Happiness. I'm Mary Ellen and this is my weekly update of my Sunday sews, what I've managed to get sewing this week, and also some of the fabrics that have arrived. And I have to say I am definitely in the autumnal zone. So today is a grey, rainy, wonderful September day. This pleases me. You have no idea how tired I was of summer, this skin, being Irish, and being quite fair. I mean, summer just is not for me. So I tend to kind of wave it out, and then once autumn comes, I get a new lease of life, so to speak. And I definitely do pick up my sewing. I do not enjoy sewing in the summer months. Firstly, it is just pretty horribly hot and humid, and that doesn't really inspire me, no matter what power the fans are on when I'm in my sewing room. But also I don't really enjoy making summer clothes. The bright, the florals, they're not as much my style as the more kind of like demure, muted tones. And I love cozy makes. I love layers, and I tend to kind of wear all year round the same base, but always have layers to make it work as a transitional garment. So will I start with what I have been sewing or show you the fabrics that have arrived? I think I'll start with what I have been sewing. So I'm sitting here and you can't really tell, but to be honest, I am sitting in chaos. My sewing room needs properly gutted out. I mean, it's not just my sewing room. I have quite a large space. I'm in a corner where I sew, but I have quite a large room which is filled with rails of handmade clothes. I should do a sewing room tour someday. I have my pegboard. I have another table, pretty much the same as this on the other side, which I use for all of my other crafts. So my cry cut is over there. My stamping goods are over there for handmade cards and things like that. And I do think the time has come to get ruthless and be realistic about how much of the stuff I need, how much of the stuff I'm going to use. I have some storage over by the window. Yeah, I'm pretty cluttered, and my desk itself is pretty cluttered at the moment. It's so messy. I need to give the place a good vacuum because I've been making tiny little clothes and there's just little bits of thread and stuff everywhere because I've just been discarding them as I go along. I don't know, just I'm a bit haphazard these days. And while I want to get stuff done, I'm maybe not being as meticulous about my surroundings as I am about the things I'm actually getting up to. So I need to gut out this room in preparation, of course, for the baby arriving. There's only so much stuff I'm going to be able to keep in my house going forward. And I guess I'm getting into that zone, what is it they call it, nesting? I think it's de-nesting for me, because when it comes to craft goods, I'm really pretty bad at clearing out. I'm really good at clearing out everything else, but my wardrobe and my crafts, well, those are kind of like hallowed ground. So those don't get the dastardly got all treatment very often, but the time has come. So yeah, I'm sitting, got a nice hot beverage, and I am enjoying the fact that it is chilly and, you know, rainy and windy. I kind of like it. I do. It makes me feel more alive. So yeah, I'll start and I'll show you the things that I have been making. And really, my work week was ghastly. You know, I had a couple of late nights. You know, when you're turning in from work at 11 o'clock and you're getting back up to be back in your office at 9 o'clock, it's pretty poor, and doesn't really leave a lot of time to do things that you want to do. Also had to fit in things like 3-hour hospital appointments, grueling, after starving myself for 12 hours, having no water, having nothing, to get that gestational diabetes test, which thankfully came back fine, don't have to worry about that. But my goodness, yeah, just in the middle of a slap bang horrible full packed week, I had that. So at the weekend, it has been lovely to sit and just sew a couple of cute little pieces, not for me, but for the baby. So I'll share with you what I have been making. You'll see I'm currently in the middle of sewing up a little baby grow. Now this is a really cute pattern. You'll see it's not finished. I need to get like the little crotch area in there and the binding and the cuffs and things like that. But I think this is absolutely adorably cute. The bindings on this I thought I was going to hate doing, and after the first one I realised, yes, okay, it's a bit laborious, but actually it's very easy to do. So this was the pattern I was chatting to you about if you caught my Sunday Sews video last week. It is the 2 stitches patterns, baby grow pattern, and it's just quite simple. It's exactly what it says it is. I've already finished one, which I can show you. I have it here on a hanger that's too big for it. It's really, like, I mean, it's so tiny, but this is what it looks like finished. So you've got that lovely bound finish. You've these really adorable little cuffs on the sleeves, also on the legs, and then you have your little gusset here with your binding and your poppers to finish it off. So yeah, that was the first thing I got made up. That is in the fabric I was showing you last week, the farm themed cotton jersey from Jenny Stitches. And I did have enough left to squeeze out another tiny little garment, and this is the Poppy and Jazz Elm t-shirt. I've gone for version 1, which has the poppers here on the neckline. Just makes it a little bit easier to get it over little people's heads. And I've gone for the long sleeves because, you know, being born at the start of December, for the first 3-4 months is not going to be the best weather, so it'll all be about warm layers. But yeah, it's super cute little tee to make up with what was left over from sewing the baby grow. So I actually made another. I'm trying to find places to put things. I made another in the gorgeous fabric that I'm currently sewing up with, again with the poppers, and this is a Stoff cotton jersey, which is absolutely gorgeous. I love Stoff fabrics, particularly for children, and I love the fact that you get an awful lot more of boy-friendly prints in the Stoff collection than you do in some other manufacturers. So I sewed up another little Elm t-shirt, which is a Poppy and Jazz pattern. And I've also made a little strawberry sweater, which again is another Poppy and Jazz pattern. Poppy and Jazz, of course, being the sister brand, one could call it, of the Sew Over It line. So I thought this was really cute. I had some navy ribbing, which I've used for the cuffs, for the waist, and for the neckline, just to make it a bit more robust. And yeah, so those three garments I have managed to squeeze out of something like 0.8 meters of fabric. So I'm pretty chuffed with that. So that's been my sewing this weekend, and hopefully the next couple of weeks I'll get to sew a few more pieces for myself. So I have been getting some basic autumnal fabrics sent out, and the first couple I've got here to show you are absolutely gorgeous. These are from First for Fabrics, and if you look at them there, they're beautiful, soft and brushed viscose jersey. So from First from Fabrics, I've got 2 shades in this fabric. I have the graphite, which is this gorgeous like charcoal grey, and I have the pumpkin. It's just that time of year where those orange tones are irresistible for me. And this is a particularly lovely fabric. I bought this because Tamlin from Sewn on the Tyne, who actually works at First for Fabrics, was showing it off in the stories one day, and I thought it looked absolutely gorgeous just to make a couple of basic jersey dresses for my maternity still wardrobe. So I'll just try and show you here. I love the reverse of it as well, just so if you can see that beautiful texture that you've got on the right side of the fabric, but the inside is so soft. This is going to be absolutely gorgeous to wear. It's made up of, I think, 75% viscose. I think it's 5% elastane and 20%, I believe, is polyester. But yeah, I just thought these fabrics, perfect transitional fabrics. They'll get me through autumn, winter, and I'll be happy enough wearing these even into the spring when it's a little chillier as well. But yeah, absolutely gorgeous. Love those muted colours. That's exactly what I'm looking for this season. So do check those out. They actually have, I think, 15 shades of that particular fabric. Chances are I'll go back for a couple more. The next thing then I have is, and again, I'm thinking basics. I'm thinking things that will go with everything. I have got myself some black boucle fabric, which I've got from Fabrics Galore. And I think this is actually 100% polyester, but it's beautifully soft, beautifully cozy, is going to keep me warm. Last winter I made myself some outerwear. In particular, my favourites were the princess coats that I made from Gertie Charm Patterns, princess coat pattern. And I made not full length ones, saying that I had intended to do that this year, but because of how fitted they are at the waist, those have had to be put aside just for now. So I've got this boucle and I'm going to make an oversized jacket for now, and then sure, next winter I can always stick a belt around it, cinch it in, and it'll still work for me next year, because as I explained in my video last month, I have no intention of making clothes just for the next 3 or 4 months that I won't get to wear again. That's complete waste and utterly pointless in my opinion. The next fabric I have is a gifted fabric. So this is another Minerva fabric. So as you'll know, I am one of Minerva's brand ambassadors. So every month I get a choice of fabrics and I get to choose something that I would like, and I make it up and I post on my Minerva profile, which I'll link in the description box below in case you're interested in what I've been making. And yeah, I post on there pictures, bit of a description about the project and about the fabric. And the fabric that I've chosen this month, again, it's that pumpkin shade, although I think Minerva have actually termed it brick because it has that kind of Victorian terracotta red brick feel to it as well. But this is actually quite a heavy cotton rib stretch knit fabric. And that's exactly what I wanted. I didn't want something light and fluffy. I wanted something quite heavy that would be durable, that will be good for, you know, walking dogs and just throwing on as an extra layer when the office gets intolerably cold, which inevitably will happen. My office is in an old listed building, and while it has been renovated and it is absolutely utterly beautiful with Neil Shawcross art everywhere, which I absolutely adore, I do sometimes feel like the layers are necessary. And then it's the opposite, of course, in the summer because the heat can't get out and you're roasting and the window opens like this much because it's old sash windows. But yeah, this is the fabric that I have chosen. This I'm going to make another True Bias Marlowe sweater with. I made one recently, absolutely loved it. I have another fabric sitting as well that I'm going to make one with. It's just, while it's not my usual style, I just love that it's a pullover. It's kind of baggy. You're not restricted in any way. And with my current, you know, shape of my body being as it is, it doesn't want to be restricted. So I thought that would be beautiful. And yeah, I'll be sewing this up hopefully soon. I'll get that into the pre-wash, get it shrunk and move on from there. And the last fabric I've got to show you is my favorite. So this is a coating fabric. Actually, I have 2 coating fabrics this month. And this has been given to me by Jenny Stitches Fabric. So again, you will know because I've talked about it. I am part of Jenny's blogger team. So I get gifted the fabric and everything I need to create my project. Jenny also gives us a voucher for our time, which is absolutely lovely as well. But when I saw this, I had an idea in my head, you see, of what I was going to make first, and while I won't tell you the pattern or anything, it is a coatigan, because as I'm talking about here before, I can't wear my fitted coats and jackets this year, so I need something to throw on that'll be cozy, warm, and yet fit. So I thought if I make a coatigan with this, you know, I'll still get an outer layer that is doing its job, but will be suitable for me to wear next year as well, because what I think I'll do is I'll put belt loops into it, and that means I can belt it up whenever the time comes to need to cinch it back in a little bit. So this is a lovely fabric, and again, it's the colour that drew me. Jenny actually sent me a preview of this, and I knew suddenly then that was the fabric that I was going to make my project out of. If you just give me 2 seconds, I'll tell you exactly what it is composed of, because I don't want to get it wrong. I know it is a wool blend, but I want to make sure I give you the right information. So it's 20% wool and it is 80% polyester. So this is going to be pretty durable. It's gonna wash up really nicely and not get too bully or anything, which I always hate. And I just love it. I think it's just quite bright. It's perfect for autumn. It'll work really nicely with the other things that I've bought this month, and I'm trying to bring everything together for the next few months because I'm not very together and I'd like to make myself feel a little bit more like I am. So this is going to be a gorgeous coat again, and you can look out for my blog post on this when it goes live on Jenny's site. I'll always tell you when that's going to happen. So yeah, that's the first thing I'm going to pre-wash actually and get started on that this week, and hopefully get to sew that up next weekend. So when the cold weather does come in, I'm not caught unawares and I have something suitable to throw on top of whatever other cozy layers I am wearing. So that is it for this week. Kind of brief, which is not always a bad thing, but I did think I would check in. As I said, I'm going to try and keep up my momentum because I love sharing what I'm up to. It's just when I wasn't making very much, I felt like a bit of a fraud. So I wasn't going to come on here just to show you things I bought and then put into my stash and hadn't used for quite a long time. But I have a bit more energy now that it's a bit cooler. So hopefully I'll be sewing a lot more. The only thing now that I'm wrestling with is the actual cutting, which I think I did talk about last week. You know, I do tend to cut mostly on the floor because it is the biggest space. So when you're making things with large skirts, etc., you do need a lot of space. So that was the only part that I was kind of struggling with. But again, because it's cooler, I don't think I'll feel it just as bad. But yeah, that's me this Sunday. I'm going to go and enjoy the rest of my day. I have some messages to do, a little bit of shopping to sort out, and I do want to finish off my little baby grow, which I will do later on this evening when I get back, and hopefully I can get this video uploaded before dinner as well, and fingers crossed it appears magically before midnight, before Sunday's over. If it doesn't, sorry in advance, but it'll still be named my Sunday Sews episode because that's where I am. Thank you so much again for tuning in and listening to me waffling on about my lovely fabrics and my tiny mini projects. Hopefully next week I'll have something more adult to show you finished. But until then, happy sewing and enjoy what's left of your weekend. And I'll catch up with you here again soon. Bye.